Ben, Mike said yesterday that he gave you the game ball, not just because of what you did in the fourth quarter, but it seemed to indicate like what you have done over your career, what you've become, and that the young guys can learn from rising in those moments like you do, like Cam does. Does that game ball mean anything different, any extra to you?
Maybe because it's the Ravens, it's at home, and that's a special win. I mean, playing a team like that, any AFC North team, but especially those guys, and it's just something special about winning and winning at home and doing it that way. You think about the many fourth quarter or last play of the game type things that have happened against those guys, and it's special.
And how can you get your body right with? You had a couple of ailments this year to try to get ready for Thursday.
Just have as many people help as you can, chiropractors, masseuses, training staff, getting in the pools and just doing whatever you can to get yourself ready. Everyone has to do this, throughout the year. I don't think anybody really likes it except for the NFL and all the money that they make. Players it's tough. Obviously, the back end of it is the benefit, right? The weekend, some time off, and that only really feels good if you get the win. But you just got to find a way, really.
Will you do anything this week? In terms of practice?
Well, yeah. Today's just like a walk. It's
right.
kind of so I'll participate fully today. That's the craziest thing is typically I don't even practice till Friday. And now we got to play on Thursday. So I'll be a full participant today and just see how tomorrow and Thursday. Yeah.
Ben, you faced Mike Zimmer's defenses a lot of times over the years. Do you look back at those tapes and these current Vikings tapes?
For sure. We watched a little bit of today when the last time they came here and played. Obviously in Cincinnati, a lot of the double barrel stuff. So we do look at we looked at a lot of that today so far, Coach Sully and I.
Ben, after the Bengals game, you said that was one that you would just want to chew it up, like chewing gum and spit it out. This Ravens game, how long do you chew on that one or hold on to it in a short week?
Just through the night. Had family and friends over, and then it's literally the next morning. You got to move on, just because it's a short week and you got to go. It's no different than when you have a bad day at the office. You got to move on quickly. Having a good day, you still got to move on because you got the next week, and so that's what we have to do.
Does momentum benefit because it's a short week, that it's shorter to kind of carry you guys through?
Maybe, hopefully, we'll see.
I think they have 16 different guys that have sacks on their roster. They bring it from all over the place.
They're not a heavy blitz team. They just got really good football players. Obviously, they're dealing with some injuries as well. 2 other D linemen that were kind of big sack guys aren't going to be out there. But they do that double barrel, the Coach Zimmer double barrel, and bring in some safety stuff. But it's not an overly complicated where they're just giving you a million different looks. It's just guys being better than the guy across from them.
Ben, you ever could sit back and consider how your arm felt this year and last year at this point compared to this year, and how much better is it this year in your opinion?
It's just a different spot in my arm. It's my shoulder that hurts more than my elbow. My elbow feels great, thanks to the doctors. It's just dealing with, I've thrown, wish someone could keep track, like a million throws in my life. So at some point your shoulder starts to wear down a little bit. So, just like any quarterback, your arm always hurts a little bit.
You have to do the short week thing and go on the road. Does it help at all that it's in a dome and that controlled environment, or I guess at least compared to if you saw any of that weather last night?
Weather-wise, it'll be great, but and I have not played in this stadium, but I've heard it's as loud as any. So that will be obviously a huge disadvantage to us in terms of dealing with what we have to deal with.
Ben, is there any depth perception issues in domes? You hear basketball players talk about that. Much of that in football? For quarterback?
Not too much. The lights, I think, are a bigger issue depending on where they're located. I know in LA they were kind of right where a ball comes in, so that'd be something we'll have to just wait and see.
There's some global chatter last night with the craziness and the Bills, Patriots, windstorm and everything. Like, would you like to see more domes? Like, does it matter to you from a player perspective?
No. I like playing on grass, and so there's no good grass indoors other than Arizona, I believe. And so that would be my biggest thing. I want to play on grass instead of the artificial surface. But in terms of the elements, it's unbelievable. I always think about the quarterbacks that have played their whole career indoors. It's kind of a nice thing instead of what Josh Allen or the FC North had to deal with or things like that. So
Ben, yeah, I think you're 350 some yards away from passing Rivers for 5th all time in passing yards. I mean, you're at the top of a lot of these lists. Do you ever sit back and think about that kind of stuff? Does that stuff? I know championships matter the most, but are there other things, metrics that you look at and think, man, I've done all right for myself?
Not yet. Usually, a lot of those things I don't even know about till either my agent or a friend or Coach Sully brings it up to me. And when it gets brought up, it's more just it's humbling. It's cool. It means I've played a long time, and I just feel blessed. God has blessed me with like I said the other day, an ability to throw a ball that not many people in the world have been able to do. So I'm just thankful.
What about the fourth quarter comebacks and those kind of things where you're up there with Manning, Brady?
Yeah, I mean
yourself?
that's really cool. For me personally, it probably means that I stunk the first 3 quarters and just found a way to win in the fourth. But it's still when your name gets mentioned with those guys, it's pretty cool.
Ben, you guys have played in the games that you won. They've all been tight, and Minnesota has sort of struggled a little bit in tight games. They lost a tough one on Sunday. You've got a lot of young guys, especially on offense, to kind of have that experience now, 12, 13 weeks in, where it gets tight and guys are able to make plays. Is that sort of a snowball effect? Can that have a snowball effect on the group?
It can be. I mean, obviously we'd love to have the blowout game and not have to worry about it, but I definitely think you can learn something from the game last week, where you have to drive down the field, or Chicago a few weeks ago, where we've got to go down to win the game. There's something to be said, and character that can be built, heart that can be built from those games. And so I definitely think that there is some things to be taken from tight games, because a lot of times when you get to the postseason, or as you're starting to get down to the end of the regular season, which is almost considered postseason, games are usually tight. And so if you can look back on, remember this game, or remember this moment, or remember we needed a drive here or a play here, if you've already experienced them, sometimes that can benefit you moving forward.
Ben, not many guys have Antonio Brown-like separation. Where is Deontay in terms of that, relative to how quick he gets out of his break?
Special. I mean, it's quick. The first touchdown, the second touchdown was, he runs this route, puts his foot in the ground, and I don't know too many people that can stop that. I mean, really, and that's why we put the play in. We put plays in for him to do those kind of things. And the best way to stop him is to hold him, which is we got that pass interference, and that's sometimes it's all you can do. He's a special talent, and I think to me, the bigger thing is the touchdown that would have been an amazing catch, the earlier one that he didn't catch, and he doesn't go into the tank. He comes back and just makes plays and keeps going, and I think that spoke volumes about who he is and his growth and his maturity in such a young football career, that he was able to bounce back and just make plays for us.
Ben, there's times in the past when there was a short week, you guys rely on some of the no huddle.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying no huddle, but does this plan have to be more condensed because of that time?
Yes and yes and no, potentially. We'll have to rely more on stuff we know. If you look at what we've installed, it's not like we don't have a bunch of new stuff that last week, 2 weeks ago, things that we've done so that guys can try and play faster on a short week. So to your point, yeah, a little bit.
But
Two
in the
more, guys.
preseason, you really lobbied for TJ Watt to get paid. Just how much of an appreciation do you have for the season that he's put together? And Minka said he should be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. There's talk of maybe even an MVP season.
I agree, and I think I should be up there with him when he gets it for bringing it back.
Ben,
Final one here.
Does it feel like you're in the playoffs already, given how jumbled the AFC and this division is right now?
I don't want to take away from. I don't want to joke about TJ, because I think TJ is like seriously one of the best players I've ever played against, and I've played against some really good defensive guys. And so yeah, I know I joke about that, but he truly is a special player. I'm glad that I've never been sacked by him, because he's not allowed to get close to me. But he is a game changer and a game wrecker, and you don't. I've been a part of guys like that, Troy Polamalu, who can change a football game, and it doesn't happen on defense that often. To be a literal game changer on defense is something completely special, and he should be recognized more than just I mean, I don't know who else is the defensive player of the year other than that guy. I'm sure there's other candidates. I just don't know, but he should absolutely get MVP votes as well, because that's what kind of a player he is. So I'm sorry, you wanted to ask.
Does it feel like you're already in the playoffs, given the way the AFC is right now?
Oh, kind of. I mean, we keep saying when I talk to y'all every week, it's a must-win. And when you get to the playoffs, it's must-wins. And so because of the hole or whatever you want to say that we've kind of dug ourselves into. And even though we're not really in a hole because of the way the AFC is, we're still behind some teams and have to do some work, and we can't let up. And so every game's a must-win. Every game's a playoff caliber game. And so that's the approach we have to take moving forward the rest of the way.